two consecutive values will differ only by a single bit. Even that also we will see in the later slides. Now, if you have an n-bit binary code, then if you're converting it into a gray code, then the gray code will also have n bits. That means n-bit binary code can be converted into an n-bit gray code. So if you're having a 4-bit binary code, then at the output you will be getting a 4-bit gray code. Now let us consider first 1-bit binary to gray conversion. So in this case, I have taken the binary number to be B0, and let G0 be the output gray code. Okay. Now, if the binary bit, that is B0, is equal to 0, then at the output you will be getting G0, that is equal to 0 itself. Similarly, if the input is 1, then the output will be 1. So when I'm writing it in a Boolean format, I can write G0 is equal to B0 itself. And this G0 equal to B0 can be represented in the form of a wire, which is shown in the figure. Next is 2-bit binary to gray conversion. In this case, we are having the inputs as B1 and B0, and the outputs are G1 and G0. So if the input is given as 0 and 0, you are getting the output to be 0, 0. If the input is 0, 1, then the output will be 0, 1. And if the input is 1, 0, then the output is 1, 1. And if the input is 1 and 1, output will be 1 and 0. If you consider two consecutive gray code values, you can see 0, 0, and the next one is 0 and 1. And these two consecutive values are differing only by a single bit. Similarly, if you can see here 0, 1 and 1, 1, it is differing by only one bit, that is the bit G1. Okay, so that is the meaning of gray code. Now, let us consider the block G0, okay, or the bit G0. You can see two different blocks here with two different colors. And the first block is having a value 0 and 1. And the next block, the lower block, is just the mirror reflection of the first block. That is, the lower block is 1 and 0. Hence, this gray code is also known as reflected binary code. Now, this G0 is obtained by taking the XOR of B1 and B0. That is, G0 is equal to B1 XOR B0. Okay. You can represent it by using a XOR gate. Then we have the next bit, that is G1, and the G1 will be exactly equal to B1, and it will be independent of B0. So you can write G1 is equal to B1, but it is independent of B0. So the same values are represented here, 0, 0, 1, and 1. So this is the logic diagram for a 2-bit binary to gray converter. Here you can see B1 is equal to G1, and G0 is nothing but B0 XOR B1. Do you have any doubt? Okay, then let me continue. Next is 3-bit binary to gray conversion. So the inputs are B2, B1, and B0, and the outputs G2, G1, and G0. In this case, first you have the inputs 0, 0, 0, then the output will be also 0, 0, 0. When the input is 0, 0, 1, it is 0, 0, 1. And when the input is 0, 1, 0, the output is 0, 1, 1. When the input is 0, 1, 1, output will be 0, 1, 0. If it is 1, 1, 0, then 1, 1, 0 is the output. If the input is 1, 0, 1, then the output will be 1, 1, 1. And for 1, 1, 0, output is 1, 0, 1. And finally, for 1, 1, 1, the output will be 1, 0, and 0. Let us now consider the bit G0. In this case, you can consider it as two different blocks, and the second block is nothing but the mirror image of the first block or the first four numbers. Here you are having 0, 1, 1, 0. And the next block you are having the mirror image, that is again 0, 1, 1, 0. And for finding out G0, the G0 is nothing but the XOR of B1 and B0. And the value of G0 will be independent of B2. Let us consider one example here. If you are taking B1 to be 0 and B0 to be 1, then G0 will be equal to 1, just the XOR operation. Similarly, you have G1 here. In this case of G1 also, the final 4 bits are nothing but the mirror reflection of the top 4 numbers. And you can calculate G1 by taking the XOR of B2 and B1. But the value of G1 will be independent of the value of B0. So G1 is nothing but B2 XOR B1. Next is G2. So this G2 is the replica of B2. G2 is equal to B2 and it will be independent of B1 and B0. So these are the Boolean expressions with respect to 3-bit binary to gray converter. That is G2 is equal to B2 and G1 is equal to B2 XOR B1 and G0 is equal to B1 XOR B0. And this is the logic diagram. Now let us consider one example where you are having the input as 0, 1 and 0. Then G0 will be equal to 1 XOR 0, that is 1. Then G1 will be equal to 0 XOR 1, that is again 1. And G2 is equal to 0. Do you have any doubt? Any doubts? Next is 4-bit binary to gray. Here you're having 4 bits, input bits as B3, B2, B1, B0, and output is G3, G2, G1, and G0. Okay, for 0, 0, 0, 0, the output is 0, 0, 0, 0. And similarly for 0, 0, 0, 1, the output is 0, 0, 0, 1. So in this case, for G0, you have to take the XOR of B1 and B0. That is G0 is equal to B1 XOR B0. Similarly, for G1, it is the XOR of B2 and also B1. For G2, it is the XOR of B3 and B2, and G3 will be equal to B3 itself. So you can just check one example here. If you are considering 0, 0, 1 and 1, G0 is 1 XOR 1, that is 0, and G1 is 0 XOR 1, 1, and then you have G2, that is 0 XOR 0, 0, and G3 is 0 itself. So the Boolean expressions are G3 is equal to B3, G2 is equal to B3 XOR B2, G1 is equal to B2 XOR B1, and G0 is equal to B1 XOR B0. And the same logic diagram is also shown here. Next, we are going to write the Verilog code for this 4-bit binary to gray converter. Okay, so in the Verilog program, first you are writing module and then module name, and here I have given the module name as binary underscore to underscore gray, Then inside the parenthesis, we are listing out the outputs as well as the inputs. So the output is out O underscore G3, comma O underscore G2, O underscore G1, and O underscore G0, followed by the inputs, that is I underscore B3, then I underscore B2, I underscore B1, and also I underscore B0. After that, we are declaring the inputs, that is input, keyword input, I underscore B3, then I underscore B2, I underscore B1, and I underscore B0. After that, we are declaring the outputs, that is output O underscore G3, O underscore G2, O underscore G1, and also O underscore G0. After that, in the case of this Boolean expression, you can find that G3 is equal to B3. So first we are writing a keyword assign, that is output G3 is equal to input B3. Okay, so this assigns the value given to assigns the value of B3 to G3. Then you have an inbuilt module, that is XOR. Then the first XOR is to find out G2, and we know that G2 is nothing but the XOR of B2 and B3. So you have here XOR U0 O underscore G2, that is output, comma I underscore B3 and I underscore B2. Similarly, for the next XOR gate, the input is B2 and B1 and the output is G1. So XOR U1 O underscore G1, comma I underscore B2, I underscore B1. And similarly, for the third XOR gate, the output is 0 and the inputs are B1 and B0. So XOR U2 O underscore G0, I underscore B1, comma I underscore B0, close the parenthesis and semicolon, then end module. So this is the Verilog program for binary to gray conversion.
Good afternoon, everyone. So as you have seen in the Verilog code of binary to gray converter, so this is the code we have. Now here we have a 4-bit data of input as well as we have a 4-bit data for the output. So before writing the test bench, we are going to introduce a concept called concatenation for a bits. So though some of you have used this in your assignment, so we thought this is the right time for you to introduce this one. So till now, when writing a test bench, if I want to change the value of B0, we used to write hash phi B0 is equal to 1 tick B0. Then after that, after 5 time units, we write hash phi B1 is equal to 1 tick B0. So similarly, we started doing that one. So since the number of bits are increasing, the number of lines also increase. To avoid this one, we are going to take advantage of one of the available technique in Verilog is concatenation of bits. Similarly, what you have learned in the C language, we have a string concatenation. What it does, it takes two variables and it concatenates both the values. The net will be stored in one particular result. Similarly, in order to concatenate the number of bits, we have to use the Flower braces here. So just see here, there's open braces and there's a closed braces. Between that, what are the variables you want to give? That everything we can give equal to. So I have given a 4 tick B 407. That means 4-bit values of binary 000. How it can be done analyzed here is, since it's a 4-bit, I taken a 4-bit location 000. What happens to the B0, B1, B2, B3? That is also a 4-bit for us. Okay, this is how it stores now. Now this 4-bit is mapped like this. For B0 is mapped to the LSB of the 4th bit. Okay, similarly B1 to the next bit 1, similarly B2 and B3. This is how it takes and is assigned to the corresponding registers what we had declared earlier. Okay, so have you understood this concept? I repeat again, this is a concatenation technique. To do the concatenation, we have to use a flower braces, and within the flower braces, we should make sure that how many bits we are going to have. So it joins everything together. If I join B3, B2, B1, B0, that means it is a 4-bit values are there. So that 4 bits now I can map with the 4 tick B. So that satisfies us. So once it is assigned, now I can separate it back. Individually, I can access the B0, B1, B2, B3. So this reduces our number of lines in the code. If you have any doubt on the string concatenation, I can explain it again. Okay, good. Now we'll try to use this method in the test bench. So when we write a test bench for the binary to gray, what is the rule for the test bench? The test bench should not have any input or output, and all the device under test inputs will be declared as a registers. All the output from the device under test should be declared as a wire. So how many how many inputs for having for the binary to grayscale is 4 input. Similarly, the output for that from the module is also a 4-bit. So for that we have declared the register B3, B2, B1, B0, which is the input for the binary to gray. Similarly, G3, G2, G1, G0 is output for the binary to grayscale. So we have called the binary to gray module with the instance name as U5, output followed by the input. Remember, the MSB is what we have given in our module. So it is G3, G2, G1, G0. Don't reverse it as G0, G1, G2, G3. So the values will be changed for us. Okay. So similarly, I have assigned the input vectors of B3, B2, B1, B0. Then comes our monitor as well as the input vector generation. So here, as usual, we have done the $display and $monitor to display in our screen. And in the right hand side, can you see there is a hash5. Normally, we'll write hash5 B0 is equal to 1 tick B0. So instead of that, what you have done, after 5 time units, I have assigned all the bits to 0, 0, 0, 0. So if you remember in the previous scenario, first all the values will be X unknown values. Then we'll say B0 value will be 0, whereas the remaining 3 bits is unknown. Then the last 2 bits will be 0. Then again, topmost 2 bits again is unknown. So it keeps on changing. Then it reaches a 0, 0, 0. So it requires a 4 lines of code to write. Instead, we have written a single line and we are told 4 tick B0 is equal to 0. So automatically concerned values are allocated in the B0, B1, B2, B3. Don't change the order. For example, if you write B0, B1, B2, B3 instead of B3, B2, B1, B0, what happens is you are reversing the values. Then you will get a different answers. All the logic will change there. Instead of following in a 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 manner, you have a different order will be there. So we have given all the values up to 0 to 15. Then we asked the simulation to stop. Okay. So this is the result you will get. So as I told earlier, initially at time t is equal to 0, you can see B3, B2, B1 and B0 is unknown and the output is also unknown for us. Whereas after 5 units, it straight away goes to 0, 0, 0. That means within that time, we have simultaneously allocated all the values to 0. Then 1, 2, 3, it keeps on going for us. Similarly, you can check the output values also. So do you have any doubts in the test bench? How we have used the concatenation technique to assign n bits to the n bit registers? Hello. Okay. Now, in the theory class, we have learned um, vectors and arrays. Is that right? In the last theory class, for the past two sessions, we have learned how to use a vector and arrays. Even in the Wednesday module also, there is a touch of arrays there, right? Now, what we'll do is, in the previous test bench, as well as in the code, here we have used 4 different names, output Z3, G2, G1, G0, like that. Instead of that, can I give one single name and assign a values? So what happens there is, if that technique is available, that becomes easy for us to write the code. Is that right? So we will use that method. So to use that, we should understand the array vectors. Okay, so here I'll give an example of how to write the same code using vector. Okay, so this is the code. Previously we have discussed. So module name, and we have a 4 input and 4 output variables out there. Now, in order to convert this into a vector, so what I'll write is, I will write module. The module name is same. I have removed O underscore Z3, O underscore Z2, O underscore Z1, O underscore Z0, everything I have removed. Instead, I have given out underscore Z. Then instead of I underscore B, B3, B2, B1, I have given only in underscore B. So now there is only 2 names available for us. Now I have to tell to the compiler it is not a single single value I am going to have, but I am going to have a 4-bit value. To do that, again the input, I am saying the input, and within the braces, which we have seen in the vector type, that's within the square bracket, we have to tell starting value colon end value. So here starting value I used a 3 colon 0. So is it a big endian or little endian type? And anyone answer whether it is a big endian or a little endian type?
Little Indian.
Okay. What is that? Lil? Okay, that's a little endian. Okay, fine. Okay, we have taken the value of little endian type. So I have declared is a vector of 4-bit. Similarly for the output, 3 is to 0, that is again a 4-bit. Now we will see how I can access the individual bits and write the code. Okay. So this is what we have discussed now. Now this is the statement we have used in our previous discussion, that assign 0 underscore Z3 is equal to I underscore B3, where this assign statement is normally used when we are going to deal with the data flow. That means I know the Boolean expression, I can write straight away, write the value, means I can use an assign statement. We will see that in the module 4, which is in your syllabus, is data flow only. At that time, we will explain how to use it properly. Okay. Now, first statement assign, what I'm doing is G3 should be mapped to B3 of the input. Okay. So the equivalent in vector accessing will be of assign out underscore 3 of within the square bracket 3 equal to in underscore B of 3. See the locations. So there we have given the entire input as a name, but here we have one input name, port name, then we are accessing that particular location. Now what happens to the U0 of instance? So out underscore Z2 should be replaced with in U0 XOR gate, out underscore Z2 should be replaced with which value if you follow the whole previous method for vector assignment? For you just see what we have done in the assign statement. Assign we instead of 0 underscore o underscore g3, what we did is out underscore g within the square bracket 3 is there. Okay, that means that is a particular location we are going to access. Similarly, for the input side, we have given in underscore b of 3, right? Now we follow the same trend for the instance u0. Then what the equivalent value we can write for o underscore g2. So what is the equivalent statement we will get here? So it will be, so output variable we have given the name as out underscore g. So you'll get a value as out underscore g. So instead of 2 within the square bracket, I have to write the value as 2. Now I access the second location. Similarly, for the input side, instead of I underscore b3, I can write in underscore b within the square bracket 3. Similarly, I underscore b2, I can write in underscore b of 2. So this is the equivalent statement of the previous of the left hand side of the u0. Similarly, for u1, if you see, again instead of o underscore g1, we have given out underscore g of 1. Then similarly in underscore b of 2, then in underscore b of 1. Okay. Now for similar for the u2 also. So what happens here is, now I have assigned it using a vector, and I'm going to access the particular locations, and I can work out. So this is the simple technique which they have used to create a microcontroller registers also. When I want to create a microcontroller register, I'll be saying that reg 7:0 of A. So you have a register A, register B in your microcontroller, right? So this is the statement they might have written there. So in that, now if you want to, there are chances that you can access only the 4-bit, least 4-bit, and I have to access the data. What I have to do is I can take only the 0 to 3:0. That particular location A of within the braces 3:0, I will get the entire 4-bit of LSB. Okay. This we have already seen in our theory classes. So henceforth in our labs also we are going to use the vectors. Okay. Do you have any doubt in accessing the vector? Locating a particular bit in a vector? Okay. So this will be your final code. Okay. And the test bed we have to change this. There also we have to change this. Instead of reg G3, G, for example, in your test bench, here you have reg B3, B2, B1, B0. If you want to use the same test bench, what I have to do here is I should put a flower bracket here in both the areas. That's what we did it here. Then automatically it merges as a 4-bit and it passes to our module. Okay. You try this one. If there is any error, we will help you out. Okay. Okay. So this completes this lab session. If you have any doubt, you can ask. Okay. One more announcement we have to tell this. Okay. The thing is, on Saturday, there will not be a lab session. Okay, there will not be any online lab session from our side. Okay. So instead, what we can do is we'll open the discussion and we'll give some small task in the assignment. We recommend you to, if you have any problem, use the discussion so that we can reply in the discussion forum. Okay. Is that okay for you? Okay. And one more thing is, and tomorrow for the theory session, there is a quiz